Welcome to Handmade by Julia Quinn. Today I have another fun fold to share with you. This is an exploding box fun fold. Box and a card, or card and a box or something. Anyway, I originally started it years and years ago to create a bunch of flowers for somebody that are perennial flowers that they would last a long time, and I have adapted it over many years, and I've made all sorts of cards, and I did a video just recently having shells. This card features the Hues of Happiness paper, which is totally sublime and all die cuttable, and the Happiness Abounds stamp set. So let's put our card together. Now, as I said, this gorgeous Hues of Happiness paper is all able to be die cut. There's a whole bunch of different types of roses, which I have already cut for you. There's my window sheet. I need to put that somewhere where I can remember where it is and see it, because it's pretty hard to see. So there's all my flowers. Here's my leaf, not leaf litter, leaves, but leaves. So these, the colours I've chosen. If I show you in the catalogue how the paper is arranged, excuse me, Hues of Happiness on page 108. Okay, so here's the paper, and there are two sheets, one in warm tones and one in cool tones, and on the 12 by 12 piece of paper there's a strip right along of the Melon Mambo, and then Flirty Flamingo, Daffodil Delight, Mango Melody, and then on this one then there's the Fresh Freesia, and there's Gorgeous Grape, Night of Navy, Pool Party, and Coastal Cabana. So I've just cut right along the whole 12 by 12. I haven't got a big piece to show you anymore. I've chopped it all up. Then I just keep running it through my die cutting machine, because there are dies that cut out the equivalent flowers on the designer series paper in that shape, that shape, that shape, that shape, and then those two flowers. I have never used the dies to cut out the little ones though. I just use that as background paper. But that is the wonderful versatility and quality of the amazing Stampin' Up! Product, is that it all works together so easily. So then I've also used one of the other papers for the base of my box here. Okay, I have a piece. This piece here is for my panel on the back. This card folds flat to fit into an envelope, although this one, because I've done it up a bit high, will have to be a larger envelope than standard, but I often usually give them as a hand gift rather than post. But this panel here is the panel on the back for the greeting, so that you can write, and then your recipient can pop this up on their Duchess to show off the beautiful bunch of flowers. And then I've got my label here for my stamped greeting. And then this is the card. Now the card is a full length of our cardstock, just a full sheet of cardstock cut in half lengthwise. Excuse me, then I've scored it. Now you can adapt the size of your box to whatever size you wish it to be. My particular box is 10 by 4, so that's 10 centimeters, 14 centimeters, 24, and then 28. And then I have scored it along the short side at about 7 centimeters, because this is 10.5, so that's about 7. That just gives you a smaller flap. And then I'm going to trim off this little corner here completely. Okay, that one's gone. And then these create the other flaps for the top of the card that enclose it to keep it nice and secure when you put it in an envelope. Okay, and then I'm going to score along all these lines that I've got prepared. I'll just score the vertical ones for the moment, and then that's my tab to stick it together. And as you may have heard me say already, but I always like to use tear and tape for my 3D projects, because I find it much easier to secure. It's nice and strong. And then I'll just peel the back off. And the other thing that I always tell my people coming to classes is, as much as possible, adhere it flat. Okay, so that way you'll know it works. When you try and stick things in midair, it's not always completely straight, okay? So there we go, that's my box. I'm going to choose to put that one as my back, so I won't fold down that score line, but I will fold down these ones, okay? There we go. That's all those ones done. And then the other part of my box creation is this shelf. This is where all of these little guys get put in the middle. See, you've got a little shelf so that you create your tiers of flowers. So my shelf is the same length as my card, 10, and then I've added 2 centimetres on each end. So that's a 14 centimetre piece, scored at 2 centimetres both ends, and then add my tear and tape. I'm actually also folding it in a Z fold because I find that is a bit stronger when you're putting it in your box. And because I've made these 2 centimetres and the box side is 4 centimetres, this should butt right into the corner on this side and this side, and that should enable it to be at right angles, which is the best way to get it to fold and whatnot. Okay, so I'll take off my tape now, and welcome anybody who's come to visit me this morning. I'm so glad you could join me, and I can't really reply to your comments until I'm finished, but I certainly will reply to all comments. Okay, so now I'm going to pop my little shelf in. I'm not going to stick it, I'm going to line up right with the edge of my flap there. I'm not going to stick it in very tightly because, as I said before, I like to do all my adhering with my projects when they're flat. Okay, so that's the way this one's going to fold. It has a bit of a buckle that way, so this way is the way it's going to fold when I put it in my envelope. So that's a standard size card, but when you pop it out, you've got this amazing, lovely box. So let's start putting our papers on. Now, because I'm using the Daffodil Delight and Mango Melody flowers, I'll keep them to the bottom because this will be hidden a little bit by the flap. Look at the gorgeous rainbow colours on the back of this paper. Okay, here we are, there's the front, and that's just a little bit smaller than my sides, so they get a little border all the way around. And then this side, and then this side. Oh, make sure I put right the way up with the Coastal Cabana flowers at the top. There we go. So that was easy. Now let's do some stamping. And I just make sure I've got this in the right orientation. So it's not quite a square. It's 9.5 by 10 centimetres, so not quite a square. So you do have to make sure you've got it the right way. I'll just get my stamping mat there so that I can stamp on that and grab some greetings for the back of my card and the front of my card. Okay, I'm going to make this one, wishing you all the happiness you can imagine, with my Mango Melody, which is one of my favourites actually. I love this colour. So there we go, wishing all the happiness you can imagine, and then some flowers just for extra embellishment on the back of my card. Might do 2 there and another one up there. There we go. And while I've got my Mango Melody out with my little scrap piece over here, I'm going to stamp my greeting for the front of my card, and that is, you are wonderful in every way. This is a card you can give anybody. You're wonderful in every way. There we go. So that's all my stamping done with my Mango Melody. I'll punch out my greeting using my double oval punch. There we are, one there, and then one there. Okay, so they can go away. You can go away. And actually this time on this card I'm going to make it extra special. I'm just going to add a little bit of colour with my Stampin' Blends with the Daffodil Delight. Not colouring it very particularly brilliantly, but just adding a little bit of colour just so it looks a bit prettier. And the Stampin' Blends are a great way to add colour, especially when you're using the lighter colours. As you can see, I'm not colouring it in graphically, I'm doing it artistically, which means not perfectly, but I really like I think it looks more artistic like that. Here we go. So that'll do. And we'll stick that one onto the back of our card. There we go. Pop you down there. Stick you on there. And pop these two together. And put you on the front. There. Okay. Right, now comes to the mechanical engineering part. If anyone says card making is frivolous, they don't know how much problem solving and mathematics is involved in the whole process. It's actually incredibly good for your cognitive function making cards. Make sure you tell all your friends that. Good for your creativity, your cognitive function, your fine motor skills. Very therapeutic, and at the end of all of that hard work you get to give something away to somebody else, something made from your heart. Okay, making one of these cards, your absolute best friend in the whole world is mini glue dots. They're my best friend anyway, but they're really great for this card. So I'm just putting my window sheet onto my mini glue dot and then sticking a flower on there and then another glue dot on the other end. There we go. And then start doing my flower arranging. Smalls at the front maybe. Okay. And the process just continues on and on like that. I have to admit I'm not a big fan of the mini glue dots being on, not off on the roll. So, oops, I've put that on the other side, so I have to stick him back here. There we go. Probably the hardest thing about this one is, one, deciding where your flowers should go, and two, seeing the window sheet on your desk, on your workspace, is really hard to see. I'll put that on the front so that I can pop that down here. You can see it starting to come together. Okay, mini glue dot, little flower. Oops, mini glue dot. Another one back there. And the designer series paper, because there's so many different types of flowers, it really looks rather gorgeous. Okay, big, 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 little, big, little, big. I've got a lot of big flowers here. Okay. And I'm going to put you over there. Also, like, depending on the colours you use for your flowers, I mean, you can make all different colours in your flower box. However, I'm a huge fan of monochromatic projects, and I just find them so much easier to handle. So that's why I've used this one. I'm going to put on the back wall of the card using a dimensional, actually. Okay, maybe put two on it. And you can go there. I get another yellow mate for you over the other side. There we are. Okay, now back to my fabulous mini glue dots and the window sheet that I can almost see. Okay, pop you down here in the middle on my shelf. And the other one over this side. I'm wondering whether I need to use them all, but I don't want to waste anything and have it left over and not used or feel lonely because it hasn't been used. So 3 more flowers. We can shove them in somewhere. Okay, I might put this one at the front behind these dudes. There we go. I need one over that side, don't I? It's all about balance, isn't it? Another one there. Oops. It's a little bit cooler today. We've had rain this morning. I do find a bit trickier with the cooler weather sometimes with the mini glue dots, because our houses are not warm inside when it's cool outside. Being in Queensland, there's no heating or anything like that. I'm going to put this one on the back wall so it moves, even though it doesn't really need to be on the window sheet. The window sheet makes it move. Okay, now my leaves I'm just going to put directly onto the mini glue dot and stick them behind the flowers. Okay, you could put them on, put you there, put them on window sheet as well, but I find they work just as nicely stuck behind the flowers. Just poked in here and there like you do. I don't have a huge amount of leaves here. And you could use other glue for this as well, of course. It's just, I'm a big lover of mini glue dots just because they're quick and simple. I don't like sticky fingers, and they don't leave a mess. And they're really strong too, actually. Okay. Oh, that's not a leaf. Goodness gracious. I must have cut out a flower using a leaf die. Right. Okay. Tear that off. Don't need that anymore. My box card is finished now. Now I just have to think of some beautiful person to give it to. And because I've used You Are Wonderful and Wishing You All the Happiness, it can be for a random act of kindness or just because someone is amazing. And I'm going to Sydney this weekend. Maybe I could give it to somebody there. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you'll give this card a go. It is beautiful and people love it when they receive a card in a box with the gorgeous flowers. And it's a perennial bunch of flowers. Bye-bye now. Thanks for coming.